Good afternoon and welcome to the Lunchtime broadcast, where we highlight the news making waves ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports and economic news. Here are the headlines. ECN targets 1.7 million voters. Families mourn plane crash victims. Safety and Security Minister and Police Chief commission Oshana Region police operation. I am Glenna Rashipura and this is NMH at 1. In our midday news update, as part of their dedication to cater to the growing demand for specialty pet products and services, Food Lovers Market welcomed their newest VetSmart store at Hilltop Village in Windhoek today. The store offers playful in-store design, including animatronics, an extensive range of products, and a customer-centric approach to holistic pet care. Store manager Andreas Jacobs talks about VetSmart and Food Lovers Market's partnership after the opening and ribbon cutting.
Good morning, I am the store manager of the VetSmart at Food Lovers Hilltop, and we are happy to say that we are opening the store today. It's the first store we are opening in the Food Lovers. So we went in a joint venture with VetSmart, so we can offer the customers a diverse range of all kinds of products for the animals. We have raw foods, we have heels, we have all the veterinary brands. So please come make a visit, come visit and come have a look.
Visual News highlights local stories from across Namibia. Right after the break, we get into that.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
Let's take a look at what's happening in the visual news front. With over 1,000 police cadets constables having graduated this morning after completing a 9-month basic police training course, President Nangolo Mbumba said that this will strengthen the police efforts in fighting crime and creating a safe environment for Namibians. He also said that this means that new police stations will need to be established to absorb the newly trained officers. Kenya Kambowe was there.
Security cluster. Namibia is one of the countries on the African continent which is respected and indeed admired for upholding the fundamental human rights and freedoms of its citizens. Directors of ceremony, this graduation comes at an opportune time as we seek to increase the number of our police officers. Today, we are welcoming 1,060 graduates, consisting of 679 males and 381 females. This will enable the police to open several new police stations and police posts across the country. The recruitment of these graduates into the Namibian police force will strengthen our police operations nationwide, as some will be posted to guard our borders, to bolster security and ensure that criminals are prevented from entering our country and disturbing the peace and stability we continue to enjoy and very much cherish.
The newspaper review segment takes us into top stories in Namibia's daily newspapers on the other side of the break.
Hi Sonia.
Hi Tufeni. What are you reading?
I'm reading about the Child Care and Protection Act. In this pamphlet I got from school.
What's that?
It is Namibia's main law for the children and the issues affecting them. The act classifies here that a child is anyone under the age of 18 years. Check out some of the rights meant to protect you. For more information, contact the Children's Advocate.
For more information, contact the Children's Advocate Namibia in the Office of the Ombudsman on 061 20 73 111. Send us an SMS on 20401. SMS costs 40 cents. You can also send us a message via our Facebook page. Remember, the services of the Children's Advocate are free of charge.
Let's take a look at today's daily newspapers. Namibian Sun starts us off with word that the Electoral Commission of Namibia has set its sights on ensuring that all 1,731,790 eligible voters in the country are registered before Namibians head to the polls later this year. ECN made the projection based on preliminary census results released by the Namibia Statistics Agency, which placed Namibia's population at just over the 3 million mark. The preliminary population statistics released by the NSA on the 13th of March indicate that the Namibian population has increased to 3,022,401, derived from the population census. 1,731,790 Namibian citizens are eligible to register as voters. Therefore, based on experiences and lessons learned during the 2014 general registration of voters period, meticulous planning has gone into the preparations for the 2024 GRV, given the resources invested in the execution of this process, the ECN said in a statement recently. The Namibian Ports Authority has signed a memorandum of understanding with CMB Tech Clean Energy Solutions Namibia and the Port of Antwerp Bruges to develop a hydrogen-powered vessel. The vessel will be the first to operate not only in Namibian waters but in African waters too. Additionally, Namport and the Port of Antwerp Bruges signed an agreement focusing on the development of the North Port of Walvis Bay. The two parties have come to an agreement to co-create, co-invest and co-develop in the development of the North Port to create industrial clusters. Moving over to the Republicans' front page, it informs that two suspected rhino poachers were shot dead on Wednesday afternoon at Scorpion Build on the west side within the Etosha National Park by members of the anti-poaching unit. According to the Namibian police, the members associated with the anti-poaching operation in Etosha noticed footprints along the park's fence between 12 and 1 p.m. during their patrols. According to Nampo, the members then followed the footprints in a radius of 60 kilometers to a waterhole where rhinos usually feed on shrubs. Over to the Republicans, page 3, the national cricketer Jean-Pierre Kotze, who leaves on the 17th of May to participate in the Cricket World Cup, is being sued for $500,000 Namibian dollars. The businessman and board member of the amalgamated group of companies, Danny Berger, is suing Kotze for alleged defamation. In his claim details, he claims that Kotze lied to a panel during an interview with a Mediclinic in July last year and allegedly made fake statements about him. According to him, Kotze told the panel that during his employment as an accountant at Amalgamated, Berger instructed him to do the accounting work in a dishonest way. The case was filed at the High Court in Windhoek at the end of February. Moving over to the Allgemeine Zeitung's front page, it reports that a tragic plane crash in the country's capital Windhoek on Friday has shaken the country and plunged 3 families into mourning. Both the ministry and the airline want to establish the cause of the accident. However, there was no flight recorder. The paper's page 3 reports that the farmer who allegedly shot the anti-poaching sniffer dog Troy and seriously insulted his handler has issued a statement. The civil proceedings were withdrawn at the beginning of the week. On the other side of the break, we continue with our newspaper review.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
In the second half of our newspaper review, the Namibian's front page informs that a Zimbabwean banker and minority shareholder in the liquidated Namibian SME bank, Enoch Kamushinda, initially agreed to pay back $140 million Namibian of the $247 million Namibian stolen from the bank. However, Kamushinda only paid back $3 million Namibian and questioned the validity of the $140 million Namibian settlement agreement with the bank's liquidators, claiming he signed it because he feared going to jail. This is according to the documents from the High Court of Zimbabwe. The paper's page 3 reports that 7 trade unions and 1 employers' organization were deregistered by the Labour Commissioner on Friday. This after they failed to submit their annual returns to the Labour Commissioner. Namibia currently has 47 registered trade unions and 17 registered employers' organizations. According to New Era, normal and enjoyable fishing expedition for 3 local young fishermen. We'll be right back after this short break.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news both on the WTA for women's and
We apologize for the technical difficulties experienced. Still with our newspaper review, onto the New Era's front page. It reports that normal and enjoyable fishing expedition for 3 local young fishermen around the Nkaza Rupura National Park in the Zambezi region could have been their last day alive. This is after things turned deadly on the peaceful Sunday when 3 Namibian villagers from the Nongozi area in the Sangiu Wali encountered members of the Environment and Tourism Ministry's anti-poaching unit while on a fishing expedition. Now questions linger as to what transpired leading up to the death of one of them, Lubinda Jamupua, age 24. Moving over to page 3 of the New Era, the Popular Democratic Movement leader McHenry Venani said if the government's redress program is not addressed immediately, it will result in a Fish Road 2.0. The redress program was launched in 2020 by the Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources in collaboration with the Ministry of Labour, Industrial Relations and Employment Creation, aimed at addressing unemployment among fishermen. Moving over to Market Watch, Government Institutions Pension Fund CEO Martin Nkubi has lauded the government's decision to sell a stake in mobile telecommunications company MTC, but says the fund will not be compelled to acquire more shares should Namibia Post and Telecommunications Holdings list MTC's outstanding shares, which went unsold at its initial public offering in November 2021. Speaking to Market Watch 100 days into his appointment at GIPF, Nkubi said MTC's listing was a good experience for the market overall. On the other side of the break, we tackle our economic news.
Hi Sonia.
Hi Tufeni. What are you reading?
I'm reading about the Child Care and Protection Act. In this pamphlet I got from school.
What's that?
It is Namibia's main law for the children and the issues affecting them. The Act classifies here that a child is anyone under the age of 18 years. Check out some of the rights meant to protect you. For more information, contact the Children's Advocate.
For more information, contact the Children's Advocate Namibia in the Office of the Ombudsman on 061 20 73 111. Send us an SMS on 20401. SMS costs 40 cents. You can also send us a message via our Facebook page. Remember, the services of the Children's Advocate are free of charge.
In our economic news, Elizabeth Manika, the chairperson of the Arandes Garden project, has expressed concerns over water scarcity challenges faced by the Daydream Agricultural Institute located in Arandes. The project was founded in 2006 as a family-owned agricultural institute. Daydream expanded after receiving sponsorship from the Rossing Foundation and the Social Security Commission in 2013. It is run by 10 women and specializes in the cultivation of vegetables such as pumpkins, green peppers, red peppers, tomatoes, and spinach, among others. The institute has been lauded for bringing hope to the community by tackling unemployment. Maniga highlighted the challenges they face. The scarcity of water is a challenge to us because it disturbs the growing of crops, causing the business to shut down. She added that the negative impact of high water bills on the institute's operations has led to employees leaving their jobs in search of other opportunities, undermining the institute's ability to sustain itself and contribute to the community's economic well-being. Additionally, Manika pointed out that despite these challenges, onions remain the best seller due to their resilience attributed to their robust functions. Let's take a look at our economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 23.18, against the euro at 19.88, against the US dollar at 18.47. 2 Namibian dollars and 56 cents gets you 1 Chinese yuan. On the Namibia Stock Exchange, Namibian Breweries Limited went up at 0.03%, while First Rand Namibia Limited went down at 0.50%. Letseho Holdings Namibia went up at 2.50%, and the remaining stock remained unchanged. On the commodities market, all major commodities went up, with Brent crude oil trading at 0.92%, going for $84.25 per barrel. Overall index went down at 0.05%, while the local index went up at 0.12%. Let's take a look at our continental news. Chadians go to the polls today 3 years after their military leader seized power in the first presidential election in Africa's Sahel region since a wave of coups. Analysts say Mohamed Idris Deby, who seized power the day rebels killed his long-ruling father, Idris Deby, in April 2021, is most likely to win, although his chief opponent has been drawing larger than expected crowds on the campaign trail. Deby has promised to bolster security, strengthen the rule of law, and increase electricity production. The vote coincides with a temporary withdrawal of U.S. troops from Chad, an important Western ally in a region of West and Central Africa quartered by Russia and wrecked by jihadism. Now, polls opened at 7 a.m. and closed at 5 p.m., with some 8.5 million people registered to vote. Provisional results are expected by May 21st and final results by June 5th. If no candidate wins more than 50% of the votes, a runoff will be held on June 22nd. Getting into our next story, an inquiry into a fire that killed 77 people in Johannesburg last year blamed neglect by authorities for allowing a building to become a den for guns, murder, drugs, and combustible trash, and failing to evacuate it once it was clear it was a hazard. South Africa opened the inquiry last October to determine responsibility for the blaze on the August 31st last year in the rundown center of its commercial hub. The fire cast light on the gangs that seize abandoned public buildings to illegally rent them out. Many victims were so badly burned they had to be identified with DNA testing. No case amply demonstrates the consequences of failure to comply with the obligations the law placed on a municipality. The calamity of the fire, the report said. In the full report, which Reuters reviewed, the justices said the city acknowledges that it failed to comply with the applicable laws. It had said, however, that it should not be held accountable since the building's decline was facilitated by the illegal conduct of the residents, threats issued to its officials, and the hijacking of the building. Johannesburg is one of the world's most unequal cities. On the other side of this short break, we take a look at our international news.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
We now expand beyond the African borders in our international news. Israel told Palestinians to evacuate parts of Rafah on Monday in what appeared to be preparation for a long-threatened assault on Hamas holdouts in the southern Gaza Strip city, where more than 1 million were displaced. People have been sheltering, instructed by Arabic text messages, telephone calls, and flyers to move to what the Israeli military called an expanded humanitarian zone 20 kilometers away. Some Palestinian families lumbered out under chilly spring rain, witnesses said. A senior official of Hamas, the militant Palestinian group that governs Gaza, told Reuters the evacuation order was a dangerous escalation that will have consequences. The U.S. administration, alongside the occupation, bears responsibility for this terrorism, the official Sami Abu Zuhuri told Reuters, referring to Israel's alliance with Washington. Israel's military said it had begun encouraging residents of Rafah to evacuate in a limited scope operation. It gave no specific reasons, nor did it say if any offensive action might follow. Witnesses say the areas in and around Rafah to which Israel wants to move people are already crowded, and there is almost no room for more tents to be added. An Israeli offensive in Rafah would be devastating for 1.4 million people sheltering there, the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA, said on X, adding it will keep a presence in Rafah as long as possible to provide aid. In our next story, Panama's former Security Minister Jose Raul Molina on Sunday stormed to victory in a presidential poll dominated by his old bosses. On the other side of the break, we take a look at our local sports news. We have to break that story up because of time.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Let's delve into our local sports news. Over 30 goals were scored in the Namibian Football Association's nationwide knockout series, the PST Bet NFA Cup, yesterday, as teams battled to advance to the round of 16 with matches at the Omulunga Stadium in Grootfontein and in Windhoek's Independent Stadium. Spectators were entertained as a number of teams scored a lot of goals. Depmarine Premiership outfit from Rundu Julinho Sporting FC comfortably advanced to the next round, beating France FC 8-1 with Mapenzi Muwani grabbing 4 goals. South African schoolboy Alexander Erasmus from Hoërskool Swartkop in Centurion and 22-year-old Kelsey Jade van Schoor were crowned as the overall individual winners of the Pukavitz Megabuild Tour de Windhoek yesterday. The 7th edition of the cycling tour was contested over 5 challenging stages in 3 days until yesterday, which, besides a short prologue on Thursday, tested riders' versatility from hill climbing to sprinting to racing on the open road or the inner city's criterium stage. FNB Rio Falcon honored the memory of their fallen clubmates with a spirited performance in Saturday's 21-21 draw against defending champions Drasco United at Gemsburg Park in Olympia, playing for the first time since the postponement of the 2 fixtures in the aftermath of the fatal road accident on the 13th of April that killed the club's chairman, Etienne Coutier, and his sons, Edmando, the first-team captain, and Ethan. The visitors made a strong start to take a 14-0 lead, although United scored the next 3 tries to equalize and surpass them on the scoreboard. The black, red, and white team struck the final blow to ensure that the team shared 2 log points each. The results leave their log position unchanged, with United 6th and Falcon 7th in the 9th team competition. We'll now take a look at our international sports news. Liverpool finally found some form in a 4-2 Premier League victory over Tottenham Hotspur on Sunday in much-loved manager Jurgen Klopp's penultimate game at Anfield. Strikes from Mohamed Salah, Andy Robertson, Cody Gakpo and Harvey Elliott secured a much-needed victory for Klopp's men, who had won one of their previous 5 league games and seen their title challenge crumble. While still mathematically in with a chance finishing top of the pile, they're 5 points of leaders Arsenal in the table with 2 games remaining and 4 points behind holders Manchester City, who have a game in the hand over both. Moving over, Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns will go head-to-head for the 4th time this season, where they contest the Nedbank Cup final. The 2 teams met twice in the DStv Premiership, and they also faced off in the MTN 8th final, with the Buccaneers won 3-1 on penalties following a goalless draw. Pirates will have the chance to defend their title after beating Chippa United 3-1 in their semi-final tie at the Nelson Mandela Bay. McLaren's Lando Norris won the first Formula One race of his career with a shock victory over world champion Max Verstappen in the Miami Grand Prix on Sunday. Norris, in his 110th race for the McLaren, beat Verstappen by over 7 seconds, with Ferrari's Charles Leclerc finishing 3rd. Verstappen, who began on pole, had won 4 of the opening 5 races of the season and leads the World Championship standings. It looked like business as usual